how has Trump's leadership defined the trajectory of the MAGA movement, and what new challenges does it face after the split?
Wow, Holland. I don't think we have a real clear answer on that right now.
It's a
Look,
foggy
uh,
situation, if we may say. It's pretty
yeah,
foggy
I know.
situation.
I I would agree with that assessment. Look, here's the reality: is you're talking about a president right now that is hovering somewhere in the low 40s as far as an approval rating of all Americans. That shouldn't be a really big guiding light to, how this is going to move forward, and is this going to majorly impact Donald Trump? Look, the one thing you have to say here is, and I agree with Peter on this, is that you can't underestimate Donald Trump. He's managed to pull certain victory out of what would be logical defeat in the political world.
Yes.
The couple of factors though that we have to look at here is number one. Look, we have independent members of Congress. You look at Angus King, the senator from Maine. You look at Bernie Sanders, for
Hmm.
example, the independent from Vermont. Uh, Both of them caucus and vote traditionally with the Democratic Party. Is Peter right that they may get a seat or two? Of course they will. We've seen this before. But the big factor here is, how do they use those votes? Are they going to solely caucus with Dems or solely caucus with Republicans, except on certain issues? Well, that becomes dangerous if you're trying to be a new political party of interest.
Exactly.
But there's a very strong case to be made that Elon Musk could be either throwing his money into the wind, which is going to cost him lots of money, as Peter pointed out. We've seen as early as today uh, the board at Tesla screaming about his political involvement and how
Mm.
that's affecting the bottom line at Tesla.
Exactly.
If that is the case and this continues, Elon Musk may have just created a political party that could be his financial downfall. And that's something he's going to have to take a look at. Does he want ego and power, or does he want to maintain his power by being the richest guy in the world? They both cannot go. They are definitely mutually exclusive in this
in
aspect.
this in this foggy situation. Yes. Okay, Mr. Peter. Now, are there visible signs of internal division within the MAGA movement, and is support for Trump waning as a result of this feud?
Trump is in charge, but the heirs to the throne,
Mhm.
those divisions are clear. They are not yet a present danger. There is a big fight internally over immigration, the importance of immigration. What do we do to fix the legal immigration issue? How do we establish a guest worker program? There are people like the vice president and deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, who don't want immigrants in this country at all. I hope they represent the minority view within the Trump coalition. It's certainly not my position, but there's a division there. Again, there are some people like Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, who wants the Republican Party to get into bed with big labor bosses, thinking that working class union voters are the future of America. He may be right about that, and they may be the future of conservatism, but you don't reach those people by getting in bed with big labor bosses. But that's a fissure that's growing. There is also the issue of tax rates. As I said earlier, there are a bunch of people who want to raise taxes on the wealthy and raise taxes on corporations. And forego the economic growth, the positive economic impact that comes from low tax rates, so that they can redistribute that money in the form of child tax credits to big families. There are also people who think that we ought to be raising taxes across the board. There are people who are not serious about spending. The Trump movement is an interesting amalgam of views, many of which do not coincide with one another.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't include political success. Franklin Roosevelt built a new coalition in 1932 that lasted for 35, 40 years, that relied on inner city blacks in the North cooperating with racist white Southerners maintaining a Jim Crow system in the South. You don't have to agree on every issue to be effective. What the failure of the Tea Party Republicans who preceded Trump is they wanted an orthodoxy where everyone agreed on everything. And in a coalition-driven two-party system like America has, that's just not possible.